What up, what up, what up? I'm here for the people. I'm here for the people. Yeah, I'm for the people. What up, what up, what up? Ready to get another one popping. Now, the name of this audio that we're going to review today is How the Wicked Caused Humanity to Believe the Exact Opposite of the Truth. It was recorded on 5/23/24. And, is what's up next. That's what we're gonna talk about. I really didn't plan that intro, but that's how I flow, by way of the spirit. And before we really get popping, well, let me just go ahead and do my other two melodies that I had lined up here. 1 second. Alright. So this one you can see. Maybe, can you see it? Yeah, you can see. That it was recorded on 7/13/24, entitled Tears of Joy. Okay? Tears of Joy. To my inner soul child, tears of joy. You bring tears of joy to my soul child. You bring tears of joy to my soul child. You bring tears of joy to my soul child. You bring tears of joy to my soul child. You bring tears of joy to my soul child. That's that validation by way of the Spirit. The one I worship. The true and living power. The eternal power. Yeah. Brings tears of joy to my soul child. Alright. And this one was recorded on 7/3/24, Soul Vibe. I be on my soul vibe. Not concerned about the wisdom of this world. I tune out the wisdom of this world, for I know that it is the opposite of the wisdom of the Great Spirit that I've been given. Okay? I don't care if people want to think that that's arrogance. Like, bruh, I don't follow the status quo. I am not of this world. So, I ain't taking away your free agency to bow down and worship the beast, be conformed to the beast, be complacent with the beast, okay? You all have one mind. You're hive-minded, alright? Keep this system established by any means necessary, okay? I am the complete opposite of that, alright? And I'm not saying everybody, but the majority of people are upholding an evil system and want to demonize me. That is a problem. I'm not the problem, okay? So anyway, I be on my soul vibe.
Running out of space, but I gotta record this. I be on my soul vibe. Be on my soul vibe. Be on my soul vibe. I be on my soul vibe. I be on my soul vibe. I be on my soul vibe.
Soul vibe.
Bruh.
The soul vibe. Now, now we're gonna see right before I got started, I had came to my YouTube and Brother Morial's video was right there that he had just released like 3 minutes prior. And it's only about 5 minutes long. So I had to check it out, you know. And in doing so, I am prompted upon my spirit to go ahead and play it. Okay? So we're gonna start with that because it coincides with a message that I'm instructed to bring. Okay? Yes, how the wicked caused humanity to believe the opposite of truth. Okay? We all have a piece of this puzzle. My brother was a historian. Like he majored in history. Okay? So hell, I flunked out of history, okay? But my brother was scholarly in this, all right? So my brother know what he talking about. So let's give a listen.
All praises, all praises. Hold on, let me see if I can do this.
All have known this whole time, of course, that we were already here.
So I'm sitting here listening to Big Judah this morning before I'm about to roll out. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, I see. This is the deal. They have come in. The Spanish came in when colonization all started. This is why today, you know, all things back to remembrance. When colonization started, it was the entire Europe that pacted together to colonize. It wasn't just one. It just wasn't just, you know, and it wasn't all. Okay? And it wasn't all. But the deal is that they have us thinking this slave trade triangle madness. So the Spanish came down into South America. That's where the Spanish came into. And they conquered, okay, timeline, 1492. 100 years later, it took Spain 100 years to conquer South America. That brings us to 1500s. At the same time, in the 1500s, France and England started figuring out ways of travel and how to come the other route, land-based, which is through Nova Scotia. But nobody went straight through the Atlantic Ocean. They couldn't get there. That is a fool's man's tale.
Now let's prove that, okay? By way of the spirit. It just popped up in my spirit. So I'm going to pause that right quick. And I'm just going to pop it right up. So 1 second. 1 second. Alright? Because he just told you. Ain't no way they going to go straight through the Atlantic Ocean. Like how they teach in school. Okay? It's a fabrication. 1 second. So they know that there's a turn of the wide sea there. Okay? there's geysers, okay, that filter out, okay? These are the natural earth geysers that are in this sea, okay? There's a turn of the wide sea. The currents and the winds go away from the fourth part of the earth, which is the Americas, okay? So there ain't no way that they went from here over to here. There ain't no freaking way. That would be that would be like suicide. Okay? Do you see this? That would be suicide. Do you see these turn? This is a turn of the wide sea. So there is no way that they could have taken us from here through this turn of the wide sea over to here to enslave us. Okay? No, they crept in this way. The Spanish came this way. Okay? And they conquered the islands over here. Okay? And they conquered South America. Alright? Now let's go over here and continue.
But I digress. When they did this thing, the Spanish, another 100 years expired. 1600s, they had taken within that 100 years Central America to Mexico. 1600s. All of a sudden, they write their book. They have this Renaissance. Europe is the top.
All right, and during their Renaissance, okay, so you're not taking into consideration that the people who conquered, when they conquered, they had to project their reality. Okay, so understand this. 1 second. Mm-hmm. 1 second. Because I want to find it right quick. There's something specific I wanted to pull out about the Renaissance. Was that Maccabees? Well, that is one of them. Give me just a moment, people. Is that it? Oh no, okay, that's... Well, this is something that I did want to show, but I'm looking for something else specific. Alright, that's the scripture that matches, okay? But I'm looking for something else. Give me just a moment. Blacked out, whitewash. Well, here's a historical book too that lines up with that. So come on, bro. This one screen is really hard to work with here because I'm dealing with several things. All right. So we're instructed to show proof. Okay. So I'm just gonna bring up several things to prove what we are saying. I don't know why I can't find a specific thing that I was looking for during the Renaissance. 1 second. We were written out of history. Okay. See, they totally brung about a fabrication. Alright? The 18th and 19th century is basically a fabrication. I did not write this. We may not even go through all of this, bro. I'm still looking for something specific about the Renaissance. Could have sworn that I saved something about the Renaissance, bro. But if I can't find what I had, then that's okay. In just a moment, I'm gonna check a couple of more keywords. Work with me. Bro, I know I had something in here about the Renaissance. That is crazy. Painted the likeness of themselves. I already have that in the Maccabees. Okay, whatever, bro. I'll bring it out later. Alright, so first Maccabees. This is in the scripture, alright? So, but during the Renaissance, this is what they did. Alright? They were changing, they were repainting the images during the Renaissance, okay? So during their takeover, they were changing the imagery, okay? So they had to do that in order to usurp us, in order to assume our position. In essence, identity theft, okay? They put themselves in authority. Do you understand what we're saying? And in order to put themselves in authority, they had to change the color, because we never made things about color. All right? We're not the ones who changed the color or the ethnicity. The people, the biblical people, we're not the ones that did that. We're not the ones who changed the identity of historical figures, okay? Like prominent figures in history, okay? We're not the ones that changed the identity of these prominent people, the biblical people, and the prominent people of spirituality, okay? The original priest of the earth, okay? So you gotta understand how they usurped the original and then gave us a counterfeit. All right, this is not done in order to hurt people. I am sorry that the truth hurts, but you can see this scripture here. First Maccabees 3:48. The heathen, okay, because this chapter is talking about the heathens, the Greeks, okay, and what the Greeks did during the times of the Gentiles. When the Greeks came into power, that's when evils were multiplied in the earth, okay? 1 second, bro, because I do not be trying to go all off here. First Maccabees 1:7-9, okay? I'm showing you that this is about the Greeks. And the Greeks are part of the Gentiles, all right? This is the times of the Gentiles. We are proving this to you, okay? We're proving to you that we have been living in the times of the Gentiles. This is why Europeans have got to live lavishly, got to live deliciously. For the most part, okay? The majority and how Europeans are looked to as the pinnacle of civilization, the ones who brought great civilization. But as you can see here, at the beginning of the times of the Gentiles, when the Greeks came into power, evils were multiplied in the earth. I'm showing you scripture, so I'm not speaking to you my opinion, okay? This is not my word. I did not write this scripture, okay? But I can clearly see in my life, as I am a living witness, and I lived my whole life in this world, and I seen with my own two eyes my life in the scriptures, okay? So can't nobody tell me that I'm crazy. I know I ain't crazy, but I am also aware that the wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Most High. Therefore, because the wisdom of this world is foolishness to the Most High, the people of this world who are conformed to this world and who cannot perceive outside of this false-ass reality, I'm looked at as a fool to them, okay? But I don't care. Call me a fool all you want. But I know that I've been living in the times of the Gentiles. And I also know that regardless of what you people want to believe, we have been living in the times of the Gentiles. And now we are at their fulfillment of it. Because now the living witnesses have been risen to give you this truth by the way of the Spirit. Okay? So that they did not come bring great civilization. They destroyed great civilization. Alright? Now, and in order to keep their foot on our neck and give themselves status, they had to usurp our identity as the gods of the earth, the priests of the earth, the rulers of the earth. Okay? So they painted the likeness of their images. The heathen laid open the book of the law, our records, that they stole, wherein the heathen has sought to paint the likeness of their images. This is not the original depiction of Jesus. Let's show you an original. Bro, and I'm not trying to stay on here too long on this, okay? Because we haven't even gotten into the audio that I was supposed to be bringing to you. Man, this is what I was looking for with the Renaissance, okay? Now, thank you, Father. I guess now it was time to bring it out, okay? So, this is what happened in the Renaissance, okay? The original painting of the Messiah, okay? Then these worst of the heathen changed the painting of the Messiah to the new painting of their version, okay? And when they came with their version, they had the sword in hand, okay? So now, I wanted to prove that. Now, blacked out through whitewash, alright? You shall know the truth, and the truth shall blow your mind. Dear people of color, there is vital earth-shaking knowledge about people of color, especially so-called black people, that has been suppressed, hidden, banned, distorted, stolen, obscured, lied about, denied, and outright destroyed. But now is coming to light as people of all colors in America and around the world awaken to the truth. Now hold on to your seat as I give you highlights and details. Okay? Like, bruh. So let's go ahead and get a little bit of this. Alright. The obscure mound builders were indigenous, so-called blacks of North America, ancestors of America's Washita Empire. Okay, we were already here when the Spaniards invaded and when all the Europeans invaded. So why is it that we're on the bottom of this economic system that was established by force on our land? Because we are prisoners of war. Okay? They lied, and they lied, and they lied, and they lied, and they lullabied the public to sleep with all of these lies. Okay, I'm not going to read all of this, bro. You can get the book and you can read it. We got to get into this stuff, okay? So, bro, they lied, all right, in order to bring about their system, okay? We are not who they have told us that we are, all right? And they are not who they have portrayed themselves to be, okay? I'm sorry that this truth is going to bruise a lot of egos, okay? But again, I ain't speaking my word. Fun fact, the image on the right is the whitewashed version of the Indian on the left. You see this? Not only did they whitewash in their Renaissance the Messiah, they whitewashed everybody who was prominent and the original indigenous people, okay? See, this was biblical prophecy fulfilled against us. We're the ones who had our identity stolen, okay? So we have been debased as nothing, just as the scripture declared would happen to us, all right? And the world has not gave a damn about us, all right? Because the world wants to believe a lie. This was because of our sin. So we went through the punishment of Judah, the sin and punishment of Judah, okay? And you yourself will relinquish the inheritance that I gave you. We were enslaved to our enemies in a land that we did not know, because they took over our land and created a fraudulent ass system. And we, the remnant, today have been living in it the entirety of our life. Okay? For we had kindled a fire in his anger, being disobedient to the original covenant of no bloodshed in the land, and eating the dead bodies of animals who were slain by our hands. It was abominable. I'm sorry if you can't understand this, okay? I mean, you have no compassion if you don't understand that animals feel the same pain that we feel. What is wrong with you? Why do you lack compassion for the creation? They feel the same pain that we feel. We are to do no harm to any creature. Do nothing to anyone that will cause pain to yourselves. That's a universal eternal law that ain't never gonna change. But my people were breaking that eternal law. So yes, all of this hell was allowed to come upon us. Now let me get that KJV, bro. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from your heritage that I gave to thee. And you will serve your enemies in the land which you don't know, because you have kindled a fire in my anger. And it's not burning forever because he's back with us. Our power is back with us, burning bright within our heart. And now it's time for us to be free. Okay? See, we are the biblical people. We served our enemies that the Most High allowed to come against us in great famine, thirst, nakedness, and destitution, in want of all things, in want and need of many things. We were the people that had yokes of iron upon our neck until we were destroyed. See, they want us to be complacent with our situation now, being on the bottom with the people who invaded on top. Okay? But the Great Spirit not going to let that continue. Understand. Okay? Let's go back. So yes, they whitewashed who the real indigenous people were. Okay? So, the image on the right is a whitewashed version of the Indian on the left. His name is King Saturo. I don't know, bro. Notice all the jewelry in the same places. See? Notice all the jewelry in the same places. When the European thought they dotted all their I's and crossed all their T's, but really didn't, and truth like this slips through. Why don't we know about this king? Why don't we know about the kings, queens, and kingdoms of the Americas? Why do you think there can be no king and queen here in America? Because America is a crown colony. It was colonized by the king and queen and the pope, okay? Europe, the seed of Japheth, and Esau, the Edomites, even some of our own people, and many nations of Psalms 83. You know, the conspiracy that they want to claim doesn't exist, like there's no such thing as a conspiracy. Keep not thy silence, O power, and hold not thy peace. Be not still, O power, for look, your enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. That's a conspiracy. A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful. Okay? A secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. The action of plotting or conspiring. Hello? They have taken crafty counsel. Isn't that a secret plot against thy people? And consulted against thy hidden ones? Is that not a conspiracy? They have said, come, let us cut them off from being a nation. Didn't we just read that we would discontinue from our heritage? That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Now, they had to resurrect the name of Israel. Now, I should be able to prove what I say, right? Just a moment. Just a second. Put right up. Where are you? Looking, there it is. Alright. They had to resurrect. Alright, so now the 1948, the United States and Britain shipped millions of Caucasians from Europe to the created state of Israel. Alright? So during 1948, the United States and her motherland, Britain, shipped millions of Caucasians from Europe to the counterfeit land, claiming that it was God's will for European Jews to create a Jewish homeland and resurrect the name of Israel. Now, why would they need to resurrect the name of Israel? Could it have anything to do with this? They have said, "Come, let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance," until 1948, when they resurrected that name. Alright? When they arrived in that land, they began the genocide and ethnic cleansing of the people already occupying the land. So these people brought the principle of white supremacy with them to that land over there, which remains an accepted part of their society today. Okay? So you see a real picture of these people arriving in that land. Now, did God, the Most High, the eternal living power, establish for them people to invade that land and practice white supremacy and ethnic genocide on the original people that was residing there? Or did mortal men establish that? Wicked men establish that? The worst of the heathen establish that? You need to ask yourself this. Stop being complacent with the reality that you have been presented. Now, they wiped us out of remembrance and then assumed our position. For they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. So you got all of these nations. You got Edom. You got the Ishmaelites of Moab. You got all of these different nations. So you got the United Nations, okay? They tell you to your face. They're united. Right? And when it first started in 1945, they were all Europeans, okay? But now today, you may see one or two. There's one right there. All right. Maybe another one. Okay. They try to include some of our people so that we can think that we're equal. Like, really, bruh? You are all foreigners on indigenous land, and you established yourselves in authority. And look around at the state of the world and all of humanity and all of creation. What have you done with the reins of the earth? What righteousness have you brought about since you've had your rule during a times, and half a time? You have set yourselves up in authority over all humanity and all creation. The Great Spirit allowed it. Allowed you the opportunity to be righteous. But everybody can look around in the state of the world that we're living in today and answer the question, do we live in a righteous world? Do we live in a righteous society? Why is it all about capitalism and greed, selfishness? Let's look at the richest people in the world. Are we lying? Or does this line up in one accord? How is this righteousness? They could end world poverty, but they are consumed by greed. All of them are foreigners on indigenous land, caring not a damn about the aboriginal indigenous people that were already residing here before our lands were invaded. And again we ask, what kind of righteousness have you brought to the world? How have you shown forth the love, the mercy, the kindness, the compassion, the goodness, all of these things of the Great Spirit that allowed you to come and partake of the blessing of the best lands of the earth? What have you done with it other than selfish gain for yourselves, for you and yours, and then force that upon all humanity? You must slave for your bare necessities. So you force all humanity to do this, stamping out love, compassion, mercy, and empathy within the hearts of humanity, because now they're having to survive in order to live upon the earth. What kind of righteousness is that? You're sitting back living like fat cats, and you care not about the original people who were the caretakers of the earth and the creation. You had your opportunity, Gentiles, Europeans, and all nations of Psalms 83. We can look at this as proof. Okay? How is this righteousness? How is it righteous? What good is this doing for all of humanity and all of creation? All of you of Psalms 83 and who attach yourself to this conspiracy, you're about to be dealt with. Now, so why don't we know about the kings, queens, and kingdoms of the Americas? Why don't we know about that? Why can't there be a king and queen here? There was Queen Khalifa. How come we never learned about her in history? the Great Seal of California, Queen Khalifa. Yeah, we are indigenous to this land. This is the land of milk and honey that the Great Spirit allowed you nations to invade and live the American dream. You have free agency to do righteousness, but that's not what your people chose to do. Instead, your people chose to stamp us out of history and literally set themselves on top of us and been on top of us this whole time and want us to be complacent with that. Now, bro, this is 46 minutes in. Hold on. You whitewash U.S. history. Or U.S. history was whitewashed and taught to all of us. Okay? But your people is who whitewashed U.S. history. Europeans. Okay? We are not the ones who changed things. Okay? But we are here to speak the truth. That means in speaking the truth, we're here to put back right. Okay? What's right? Okay? Bruh, how can we put back what's right without speaking the truth? How can we speak the truth without putting back what's right? Okay? The lie has to be exposed. Europeans whitewashed the original so that they could usurp us and assume our position. Okay? That is not hate speech. That is the truth. Alright? I'm trying to go as quick as I can. Alright? So we don't learn about the truth in school. Alright? Because that would be a huge part of American history. But we know about all their white kings and queens back in Europe. All we know about ourselves collectively in American history is slavery, Civil War, and Jim Crow. We didn't have a kingdom. We didn't have any kingdoms, royalties, nobilities, real heroes. Of course we did. But these were all erased and ignored by the Europeans because that's who they are warring with. History is written by the victors. And the victors in this case are liars. And they lied about what really took place and who was really here and what their role was in the destruction of the indigenous peoples, which is all biblical prophecy. All the biblical prophecy that was written about our destruction happened here in this land. Just like with hundreds, if not thousands of other whitewashed images, the European went out of his way to hide the history of so-called black Americans and other groups they colonized around the world by omission of history or taking paintings/drawings that depict the original true appearance of a people and whitewashing them, turning them into white people, erasing the original so-called black people. The question is, why did they do this? And mind you, they still whitewash to this day. Just look what they did to the Egyptian queen Nefertiti. Hold on, people. All right, sorry about that, people. I got a bike on the way, so that'll help me. Don't have to walk so much, but it's been years since I rode a bike. But anyway, let's get back to it. All right, let's see. Yeah. So they went out of their way to hide the history of us. All right. And so yeah, you look what they did to the Egyptian queen Nefertiti. Okay. So this is who we were in this land. All right. We were abundant with gold and precious jewels. Okay. We were not an impoverished people. We were a very wealthy and prominent people, okay? But they destroyed who we were. They would take the most prominent of our people and torture and murder us in very cruel and diverse ways, okay? On Christopher Columbus's first voyage, he shipped us to meet the king and queen, okay, in Europe. All right, meet Queen Isabella. All right, the slave trade was told in reverse. Christopher Columbus took the first shipment of indigenous Aboriginal Americans to Europe, okay, to meet with the queen. You get images of this, okay, like bruh. You, if you want to remain in denial, you can, all right, because you have free agency. We're not here to force you to believe anything. We're showing you proof. We're showing you receipts. The process of becoming politically correct in history books is becoming a process that will eventually right us black Indians, so called. I hate that term black. Hold on, people. Yeah. Alright, 216. Oops. I don't like that term black. But anyway. But that will write us out of history. Case in point, current histories record that in 1619, the first African slaves arrived at the shores of Virginia. However, if you read the original report, the word African is not used. The report says 20 and odd Negroes. And again, you must remember that in the 1600s, Negro was a term that was being used for Indians. By changing Negro to African, we would now assume that these slaves were from Africa, when actually these slaves came from the American West Indies, where thousands of indigenous American Indians were enslaved. The West Indies. Okay, so where is the West Indies today? Understand, taking us from the islands in the West Indies over to Virginia and wherever, the shores of Virginia, that don't mean we came from Africa. Okay? It means we came from the West Indies and they were reclassifying us. Okay? Today, Negro has become politically incorrect and is being replaced with African American. However, not all Negroes were African. Many were indigenous American. Because there's a play on that native as well, but that's a whole different topic, bro. I'm not even trying to go that deep. All right? If we continue to allow history books to change the word Negro to African American, black Indians will eventually fade into non-existence. Okay? So, bruh, I don't care what people want to believe. All right? We were written out of history. All right, historians of the 18th and 19th century of white supremacy want you to believe when the first century historians of Rome and Greece talk about the darkness of the Israelites, they talking dark white people. Yet most 20th century historians have done the research willingly, admit that Ethiopian Jews can trace their roots. Ethiopian so-called Jews because, bro, we didn't call ourselves Jews. But these are probably the tribe of Judah. Can trace their root back to 2,000 years ago. These are said to be the bloodline of King David. Knowing that they were only called Ethiopians is based upon their color and not landmass. The word Ethiopian mean burnt face in Greek, aka black. So when they call us black, okay, and keep in mind that the Greeks was the beginning of the times of the Gentiles. So you're allowing another nation, these Greeks, all right, Europeans, to call us burnt face, okay? But we are the original complexion of humanity, okay? I'm sorry if this hurts feelings, but it's the absolute truth, okay? This is why Europeans have to put on a synthetic sunscreen. You have to put on shielding. We don't have to wear sunscreen. I ain't had to wear sunscreen a day in my life, okay? We don't have to wear sunscreen. We are the original, okay? I'm sorry if this hurts your feelings. We're not doing this to hurt your feelings, okay? We live in a false-ass reality. I'm sorry that you don't want to see that you live in a false reality. But the moment that you let go of the false reality and you humble yourself like a child, you will be much happier, okay? Understand, it doesn't matter that you are not the original, all right? You can still be a part of true Israel. You can still be of the household of the Most High. So, ultimately, it's not about skin color. But we have to speak the truth about what happened so that we can bring out the truth of the real reality. Okay? Exposing the false reality. Now, so you see this. These so-called Ethiopian Jews were of the bloodline of King David. That is the tribe of Judah. Knowing that they were only called Ethiopians is based on their color. Based on their color. And it's the Greeks that base things upon color. Not us. We're not the ones who created race. We're not the ones who used race and skin tone to be a weapon. It's you like Europeans used it as a weapon. We are not using it as a weapon. We're exposing what happened. That's a whole difference. So, they knew that they were only called Ethiopians based upon their color and not on landmass. Because the land over there, the land of Africa was known as Ethiopia. And the sea was known as the Ethiopian Sea. Okay? It was the Ethiopian Ocean. Alright? Like, in ancient history, alright, so-called Africa was known as Ethiopia. And the ocean was the Ethiopian Ocean. Okay? You can look that up. Now, they knew that they weren't called that, though, based upon the landmass, but because of their color. Well, why is that? Because both the Hamites and the Shemites look the same. Okay? So even though there were Hamites that were considered Ethiopians, they were called Ethiopians. But they were Ethiopians based on the bloodline and the landmass. Okay? But the ones descended from King David was only called Ethiopians by the Greeks. And it was a derogatory term because they were calling them burnt face and lumping them together with other bloodlines and nationalities within the landmass over there. Okay? Understand this. These Jews of the tribe of Judah, or the Israelites of the tribe of Judah, would have lived around Jerusalem during the time of the destroying of the temple 70 AD. These Israelites avoided Christianity until around 300 AD when Christian missionaries forced mass conversions on these Jews from 70 AD until 300 AD. They were not Christian, yet not all accepted this conversion. More 25,000 continue in the law and circumcision until Emperor Constantine wrote edicts banning this practice. So history does matter. Real history matters. Alright? And during the Emperor Constantine, that was the time of the Greeks. Okay? Now, many of the Israelites of the tribe of Judah was continuing in the wicked law, the perverted law of blood sacrifice. And this is why the Great Spirit allowed us to go into captivity. Alright? And they were doing circumcision of the flesh. Alright? Circumcised. Bro, that don't come from the Great Spirit. Pain don't come from the Great Spirit. So you're torturing your little baby boy when you take them to be circumcised. It's a wicked practice, okay? The Most High wants circumcision of our heart and our mind, okay? Not of our physical flesh, okay? Now, let's go back and finish, my brother.
Ironically, doing so, coming through the Americas, was the hardest task. That's why the mean, ravenous savaged Spaniards did it. England and France came up again through Nova Scotia, came and down. Oh, the Pilgrims. That was up north. So they conquered. They met in the middle, Louisiana Purchase. They had their manifest destiny, 1800s. So they did all of that, conquered, stole all the lands, and time out. What came behind them? What came behind them was their priests, their Catholic, their ideology. So within that same 100 years, all the way to the 1800s of their conquering with the sword, they also turned around and was coming in behind themselves from conquering, because this is what they do. And they changed things, they created narratives, they made things different, they made things look different and sound different. As we know, is the ism. This is what they brought behind with them in the sword. And today, now, oh wait, time out, 1800s, we know what happened through the 1800s. They start enslaving our people here as they had done everywhere else. 100 years, 1900s. All of a sudden, now they can't really do that. They're going into an industrial age, so they need everybody as a slave. They make a division. They create a division against their stupid people, because it was easy, against us in the laws and in ideology and physicality. And, hey, this is where we are.
All right, and then in the 1800s, we can see that they were constantly committing these massacres, okay? All the way up to the 1900s even, okay? Like, bruh, you cannot convince us that all of this, that the Great Spirit allowed to happen to us at the hands of your forefathers, and even to this day, how your foot is still on us. Okay? We're still known as nothing in our ancestral land. We're still being overruled and ran over by the worst of the heathen in our lands, and all nations who are complacent with this just got their foot just stomping all on us, not giving a damn about us. Okay? So understand, this, all of this was biblical prophecy. Okay? And it was only allowed for a certain amount of time, not for eternity. So it doesn't matter that you don't want to believe that we've been living in the times of the Gentiles. Okay? Oops. And I want to see something. Let's see, Luke 21:24. The destruction of Jerusalem. Alright? So don't nobody care about our distress upon our land and the great wrath that was upon us this entire time. We fell by the edge of the sword, and we have been led captive into all nations, and Jerusalem has been trodden down by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. There will be signs in the sun and moon and stars, and on the earth dismay among the nations, bewilderment by the warring of the seas and the surging of the waves. Do you not understand? We've been experiencing that again, because now it's going to be the overturning of our tribulation. All right, 1 second. I wanted to see something. For a short while your people possessed your holy place, but our enemies have trampled upon your sanctuary. Okay? Understand, we have been living in a paradigm because all of this time, the true holy people have been trodden underfoot during the times of the Gentiles. Okay? All of this time. Alright? All of this time, we have been being destroyed. They always mixing things up, bruh. It's so annoying. It's annoying how they mixed up our scriptures, bruh. But this happened right here, where this is happening now. It already happened. Jesus told them a parable, the lesson of the fig tree. Hold on. Yeah. So I just read this right here. Okay. Until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled. The return of the Son of Man. You need to understand that this is spiritual. Alright? And this is the Spirit returning. Alright? The Spirit returning to the children of light. Okay? The Spirit returning to the children of light. (24, 26 to 31). So if they tell you he is in the wilderness, do not go. Or he is here in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For just as the lightning comes from the east and flashes as far as the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever there is a carcass, there is vultures will gather. Okay? So the vultures don't want the living food. They don't want the living word by the way of the Spirit. They want the dead words of dead men. Okay? So most people are flocking to the counterfeit. They're not wanting to listen to the living witnesses that receive the Spirit. Okay? But understand that the powers of the heavens is about to be shaken. Alright? Many people are about to be terrified because you are ignoring how this happened. Alright? As soon as his branches become tender and sprout leaves, you know that summer is near. So also when you see all these things, you will know that he is near, right at the door. Truly I tell you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have happened. We're the ones telling you that we are the generation that's going to see these things fulfilled, okay? Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. So you are going to see what I'm saying, okay? Because it ain't my word. All right? It's basically saying the same thing, referencing the same thing over and over and over. Let's see if Mark is saying the same thing. All right. Yeah. Let's see. Yep. Saying the same thing. All right. At that time, if anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or there he is, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will appear and perform signs and wonders that would deceive even the elect if it was possible. So be on your guard. I have told you everything in advance. These people are going to the ones that tickle their ears. Okay? I ain't telling you that I'm the Christ on earth. I ain't telling you that. I'm telling you that I'm a living witness and that I accepted the spirit of truth and that I live it. But that's wholly different than freaking claiming to be the Messiah on earth. I don't put no titles on myself other than servant. Okay? So you are supposed to judge by the fruit. Okay? And many people are not judging by the fruit, because his true disciples, the ones who truly follow him, would be walking in his instruction. Okay? So it ain't my fault that you ignore the fruit. Now, in those days after that tribulation, after our tribulation, our physical tribulation, our spiritual tribulation, our mental tribulation, our emotional tribulation, okay? Understand that, the sun is going to be darkened. The moon will not give its light. We've been experiencing a lot of eclipses, okay? And the stars will fall from heaven. You all are about to witness the powers of heaven be shaken, okay? At that time, you will see the Son of Man coming in the clouds with great power and glory, and he will send out the angels to gather his elect from the four winds, from the ends of the earth to the ends of heaven. Understand that's coming later. We're going to be liberated from the clutches of the Gentiles and their satanic ass economic system, because they're about to go through their tribulation. All right? And while they're going through their tribulation, we're going to be liberated little bit by little bit. Okay? Because, bruh, we're the fig tree that began to sprout fruit. Okay? This is the last time that he's pruning his vineyard. Alright? And, hold on. He's clearing out the bad as we grow. Hold on. And this is the final time. They're not going to stop us from growing. Okay? In Jacob chapter 5. Alright? Wherefore dig about them and prune them and dug them once more for the last time, for the end draweth nigh. And if it so be that these last grafts shall grow and bring forth the natural fruit, then shall you prepare the way for them, that they may grow. And as they begin to grow, you shall clear away the branches, which bring forth bitter fruit. The bitter fruit is the lies. So all of these people who has set themselves up in authority and have been peddling lies for selfish gain, they're going to be casted away, okay? And it ain't the Great Spirit that's doing it. It's just not going to protect these people. Going to allow them to reap what they have been sowing, according to the strength of the good and the size thereof. And ye shall not clear away the bad thereof all at once. lest the roots thereof should be too strong for the graft, and the graft thereof shall perish, and I lose the trees in my vineyard. All right? So, bruh, I'm not trying to read all of this. All right? But I'm doing my part. Okay? So he told me to go to and labor in the vineyard with my might. For behold, this is the last time that we're nourishing the vineyard. For the end is nigh at hand, and the season speedily cometh. And if we labor with our might with him, we will have joy in the fruit, in which he is laying up to himself against the time which is soon to come. All right? And that's the destroyer of the Gentiles. All right? And when the destroyer of the Gentiles get here, that's when we're going to be gathered. And all the righteous Gentiles that are cleaving unto us and decided to help us, decided to walk in righteousness, you will be gathered with us. But if you choose to remain selfish, puffed up in your pride and arrogance, then you will face the destroyer of the Gentiles. Okay? It's as simple as that. Now, let me let my brother finish up, and then we're probably going to start up, well, we'll see. We'll see. Let me let my brother continue.
In the big scheme of it all, and it's so crazy to see and to watch them sit around and try to lie about it. It's like, listen, stop lying to yourself. We already see you. Don't you get it? We got nothing but love for you silly people out here. Because we're out here saying these things. It's the people, other people who lying to you, to keeping you lying to yourself, because we don't care. I mean, what do you want me to do? If you're lying to yourself and I say, don't lie to yourself, and you keep lying to yourself, what do I have to do with that? I'm just going to let it ride. This whole thing fundamentally has to change, and that's what we know it's in. That's the game. This thing is moving fast, and all praises.
All praises to the Most High. You know, I'm like I said. You know, I don't set out to hurt people, but you know, it's not our fault that your forefathers lied to you. Okay, we were all lied to, but you have to humble yourself like a child in order to accept the fact that you were lied to. Okay, so before slavery, we were the caretakers of the earth. Okay? And because we were doing wickedness with the blessing of the earth, we were supposed to keep the original covenant of no bloodshed. And we did not do that. Okay? We didn't keep up our end of the bargain. Okay? Therefore, the Great Spirit allowed us to go into captivity. Alright? Of the worst of the heathen. Okay? We are the original people of these lands. All the lands that the Great Spirit allowed to be invaded. We were here. Okay? Our people were here. The copper-colored, brown-skinned people who were reclassified as colored, Negro, African American, black, all of these different stigmas and labels Europeans and foreigners placed upon us. Okay? And then whitewashed all history to bring about their false narrative. Okay? So I'm sorry that they did this, but it ain't my fault. Alright? Don't be mad at the truth teller. I'm here to expose this. Alright? Back in the day, they made comic books about it because they were proud of it. They were proud of their conquest. This is why they erected their statues of their most wicked war generals. Okay? So don't play with us. Alright? You were proud back in the day, but now you want to hide it. Now you want to gaslight us and call us hateful, want to call us racist because we're speaking the truth about real history and how you got up on top of us very high and how we came down very low. Now, on that note, let me go ahead and start up a new one, and when we come back, I'm gonna be starting up the audio. Okay, shalom.